Alright, so guys, we got News Now Northwest here at Spokane County Sheriff Center. What's going, Don? So I just came through and noticed some training today. Thought I'd come check out and see what's going on. We have a bunch of Washington vehicles that are unmarked what department they're in, so we'll find out what's going on there.
They closed it? I don't know. I'll check and make sure it's closed.
Hey, excuse me, sir. Do you know why some of these vehicles, the Washington vehicles, are unmarked? They don't have any, it's my understanding, the RCW, the 46.8.65, they're all supposed to be marked with the department that they belong to. These are some law enforcement vehicles, and I don't see markings on some of them.
So, sorry. We're Washington State Department of Fish and Wildlife.
Okay.
Our supervisors drive unmarked cars. So if you see one with a star on it, it's going to be an officer. One without a star, going to be a sergeant or a captain. My understanding is the chief of the Washington State Patrol is the only one that can provide permission for unmarked vehicles, and we've been provided that permission as a Washington State law enforcement agency. That's my understanding. You'll have to go do homework.
I've done a lot of homework on it, and my understanding is even with that, unless it's like undercover, it still has to be a sticker on at least the back. I believe it's either passenger side, it might be driver's side window, indicating what the department it is. Because I mean, think of it as a citizen. If I'm out, and I understand I love the outdoors, but as a citizen, if I'm out and I see someone pull up in a truck like this, it looks like a law enforcement vehicle. Somebody gets out, I mean, I'm sorry, anyone can go to a costume store and impersonate a law enforcement. If I don't see enough, I mean, how do I trust, especially when I'm out in the sticks?
And that's a practicality argument.
Well, that's the point of the law.
One could also say that anybody could throw a star on the side of their truck and impersonate.
Well, exactly, but that's the point of the law, was to establish something. And so if we're establishing something, why aren't we following?
My understanding being the chief of the Washington State Patrol has granted that exception, which through RCW he's not allowed to do. You could look it up. Well, I recommend if you find out that it doesn't add up.
Oh, it doesn't add up. I'm telling you, I've looked it up already.
So call.
Yeah, I understand it's not your call.
Any hunting or fishing pamphlet has the contact information.
Okay.
The Olympia headquarters, just call them and ask. Because we went through this a couple years ago. With a gentleman that had the same issue.
Yeah.
And he was also putting it out with Spokane County Sheriff's office.
Yeah.
Running the unmarked vehicles. Part of that exception is not a state law.
But the law applies to all vehicles.
Well,
they have to be marked.
The state patrol can lawfully run unmarked vehicles.
Yeah.
Correct?
Well, and yeah, I understand what your understanding is. The point is, the law is the law, and you guys have been taught.
Not always, because there's case law that sometimes.
I understand your case law, but the case law doesn't apply to a law enforcement vehicle that is not undercover, not having any sort of marking on it. And I've looked that up. And the thing is, though, is it just like the one in Afraid of? That was Gavin Syme that did that. And I'm sorry, what's your name?
Jason.
Sorry,
I got my instructor.
No worries. And I mean, you're a nice guy. You're a reasonable guy. I don't mind having a conversation with you. And the thing is, though, is it's the person who drives the car is the one responsible for if they're breaking the law or not.
Right.
And the thing is, everybody I have a conversation with understands the law enforcement side of the law, but doesn't seem to care about the citizen side of the law. And so that's why I'm out here. I understand that, but what I'm saying is I'm out here as a citizen and as a journalist trying to raise awareness, because my experience is when I have these conversations.
Do you have contact information?
I'm with News Now Northwest. I can give you that.
If I could look it up, and I'm not going to promise you I will, but if I do,
we have a YouTube channel.
I'm more than happy to send you what I found out. Because like I said, last time this came up, it's been several years ago, it probably was Gavin Syme.
Yeah. He was in Grant County. He was the one. He's pretty aggressive. I don't necessarily agree with what he does.
Like during aquatic invasive species check stations where we have mandatory checks for boats, he's shown up and brought up the same issue that check stations are illegal in Washington. You know, we've had a lot of interactions with him. But as far as the unmarked vehicles, I understand we're granted that exception through the chief of the Washington State Patrol, and that is a lawful exception.
And I understand your point there. My only thing that I want to get across to people in your position, and I know you probably have to get going, is, like I said, from a citizen, and there's a growing number of us that don't really trust law enforcement.
Sure.
And we also know, I know as a father, as someone who has a girlfriend, and as people that I can't always be there to protect and care for, that there are people, there are bad people. I just read about one last week that was impersonating a law enforcement officer. Not here locally, it was somewhere else.
Did he have a star in his vehicle?
He did. He had a vehicle that had a sheriff's department logo on it. He made it look like it. So they go through the extent. And I understand your arguments there, but my point is we have laws to establish at least a ground where we can do it.
Sure.
And so from a citizen's point of view, my point is you guys are taught to kind of justify how you guys can skirt the law. And my point, what I'm saying is if I chose to, let's say, break the law with my vehicle, I go to court and I have to pay a fine. You guys don't have those same repercussions. Our only repercussions is me coming out.
I had to pay a ticket once for crossing the Tacoma Bridge without a good to go pass. In my police vehicle.
Yeah, my point is though, you're driving in unmarked vehicles, and who holds you guys accountable? Either me or the law says it's actually your department, somebody in your department that holds you accountable. So my point is, if I'm not out here doing this, holding you guys accountable, I'm sorry, you guys have other stuff to do than to say, make sure you mark your vehicle. So it's the citizen's job to make sure we're out here doing that. And that's why I'm out here doing it, it's not right, and I'm trying to make sure people are aware of it. Because, you know, several years ago here, a man was shot on private property from an unmarked vehicle. And there's a lot of controversy revolving that. And law enforcement doesn't seem to care that citizens are saying, hey, that might have been prevented by doing what the law says, and law enforcement says, we don't care about that. We want to be able to write tickets. I mean, believe me, I've studied. I've read, not you, but the leader of this county, Ozzie Knezovich, has made a lot of misstatements and manipulated his statements about the unmarked vehicles. He says one thing but does another. That's my opinion. I don't, and that's not you. I know.
Nobody held him accountable. If he can't have unmarked vehicles, why does he still have them?
Because what I'm saying is, so in 2015, he went, so the RCW says that a local government can basically make their own law regarding this. So he went to the county commissioners and said, I want to be able to use unmarked vehicles. And I actually have read the articles in the paper, what he said is, I want to be able to use them. The intent of the law says you're not supposed to use them for patrol vehicles. Like you said, senior officers, things like that, special investigations, they can use them. But they're not supposed to be used for patrol officers.
Traffic is what they
patrolling, and traffic enforcement.
It's
traffic enforcement.
Especially,
So the problem is, though, in Spokane County with the Sheriff's Department and like the police department in Spokane, I see, especially on like a Friday night, unmarked cars out doing patrol car activities. Those aren't, and I'm sure they probably, those are our DUI enforcement, there are special investigations. They have ways that you skirt around the law that's made.
Didn't give him that leeway, or did they just not word it precisely?
I mean, they gave, the wording is there, but what I'm saying is in public, Ozzie is saying, well, we just want to clarify it, and the intent is that we're not going to use them for patrol cars, but then he uses them for these purposes, but that's not out there for, the public don't see that. You know, unless I'm out there covering it, we don't see that. So that's my point. But hey, I appreciate having a conversation. I know it's not your call. And I know it's something that has to be a conversation.
I would rather people talk to me about this stuff. I live in a small community. I'm from the Mid-Howe Valley.
Okay.
And I would rather people talk to me about it than sit and stew and not say anything and then go tell someone else about it. I would rather them come to me.
Yeah.
And so this is, as Fish and Wildlife officers, we're a little bit more engaging with the public than regular law enforcement is, because we have to be just by the nature of our job.
You guys, exactly, you guys encounter people out in the sticks. My name's Corey.
Oh, your name's not on there. I was like,
no, it's just our channel.
I saw Thomas Payne, and I was like, cool, man. Oh, no, wait a minute.
All right, nice talking to you. I appreciate it. All right, so, I mean, there's several. Sorry, guys. I can't even remember his name now. You're all doing okay. Hopefully I did all right with the camera. You caught me right in the middle. I went live as I was going through this parking lot and saw these people and saw these cars. Sorry, I got distracted, and then saw him and wanted to grab him before he went in. I actually didn't even see he was an instructor, so that was cool. But yeah, I mean, here's another one right here. You know, this is what I'm talking about. It's got number 8. I guess we're supposed to believe that's a police vehicle or a state-owned vehicle now because it has XMT and a number 8 on the plate. I mean, the law is made to protect us, and it doesn't appear that they care, as long as they're protecting themselves. So, anyways, how you doing? Good. Oh, I'm a journalist. I'm just doing a story. Well, the unmarked law enforcement vehicles in the parking lot here that are illegal, like this one right here, doesn't have any identifying markers, say what department it's for, or anything like that. It's supposed to identify where it's from.
What paper is that?
Oh, it's not a paper. I'm a citizen journalist. I have a YouTube channel, News Now Northwest. Check it out. Must be lunch is getting out. How you guys doing?
How's it going?
Pretty good? Hey. So anyways, I'll just go down and show the rest of them. There was one, here's this first one right there. That one right there is unmarked. That one right there is unmarked. The one at the end is unmarked. So there's 1, 2, 3. Hey, Othello. We've been to Othello. They're good guys. There's like 5 at least unmarked in there. So, like I said, my point is they're supposed to have some sort of markings, and they don't appear to have any. So that's our issue with them, and we'll be taking that up with the proper authorities. That's the Washington Wildlife Law Enforcement. So we're figuring out exactly what their exemption is. I'm sorry, did anybody catch what that gentleman's name was? I got it from him, but I totally forgot it. I'm horrible with names. I should have asked him again. How you doing? Sorry, I forgot to land, man, you guys. I like it when people break the law and interrupt me. Not cool. So yeah, it must be lunchtime. Everybody's getting out. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Might stick around a little bit. Thanks, Felipe. I appreciate that. Hey, everybody. I don't know. Maybe I should go in and visit the sheriff's department. They're actually the ones that are supposed to hold people accountable. Maybe I should go in and see what they say about at least marking them a little bit. What do you guys think? Should I do that, or should I leave it for today? It was pretty easy to be in the middle of a rat's nest. Oh, that's funny. You guys are funny. I don't know, maybe we'll go in and see. I'll think about it. This guy just came down and pulled in right after me. He must want to talk to me or something. Getting out of his car.
Hello.
How you doing?
Good. You're the same guy that was out at the jail the other day?
Nah.
Okay.
Is there something wrong if I was?
What?
Is it okay if I was?
Yeah.
Okay.
Didn't you write the news out? I was just curious.
Hey, well, since you're a sheriff's deputy here, there's some unmarked law enforcement vehicles down here that don't have any kind of markings at all.
Are you with the media organization?
I'm a citizen just out here.
Okay. So So the best person to ask about that is going to be our PIO.
Well, but I'm aware of the law, and the problem is there's absolutely no markings on it. I understand your guys' process. I've read Ozzy's emails through the FOIA requests about how you guys are supposed to handle this. The problem is people are breaking the law. Law enforcement officers are breaking the law, and when citizens have issues with it, you guys refer us to the PIO. And what does that solve? Nothing, because the PIO says, well, we've gone and gotten special permission. And it's this back and forth. And the problem is they're supposed to have some sort of marking, unless they're undercover, they're supposed to have some sort of marking saying what department they're with. So we've got all these law enforcement trucks back there with no markings from Washington State. So, I mean, if you don't want to have a conversation or listen, you can just ignore me. That's fine. You have a good day, sir.
Mark Gregory's the best person to talk to.
Yeah, well, Mark Gregory doesn't do anything, neither did any of you. So us citizens are going to start doing something. We appreciate the service, though. Great. Great what we pay for. That's what you get here in Spokane County, people. Protect and serve. I'm sorry, but I just get at that. I mean, they're not even listening. Just comes up. He's supposed to be listening to me, and he comes up and just starts talking to somebody else in the middle of it. That's what my taxes are paying for. It's ridiculous. No, that wasn't the same guy, Republic. That guy was much more fit. This guy's been sitting behind the front desk eating too many donuts, not passing the fitness test. Yeah, they were all rude. The PIO isn't rude, though. He'll just tell me how they've justified it. Well, it's not justified. I'm tired of it. Maybe old Matt Shea and I will have to have a conversation. He can help me do something about it. Our representative is taking Ozzy to task. Anyways, hope y'all enjoyed that. First time I've gone live for a while. We haven't had any content. My kids were on spring break, so I was enjoying some family time. Does feel good to get out, though. Am I the same guy that was down at the jail? Come on, man. We're everywhere. Not one of us. There's many of us. You know what? I might just walk all the way home. I need some exercise, and there's a weigh station on the way that might need a little audit. No, I'm not quite like Gavin's side. Yes, we are everywhere. That's right, Republic. The reason I'm saying that, y'all, I don't know if you were here, but the guy there, the sheriff's deputy, asked if I was the same guy that was down at the jail the other day. No, that's another auditor. That's, I believe, probably speaking of human error. Yeah, I love how they get to bend the rules. They make rules to make us feel safe and make us feel like we can hold them accountable. And then when we try to hold them accountable, they tell us to go to their PIO. Well, is the PIO going to come down here and see these trucks right now? I mean, I have them on video, so I can show them what they look like. And I'll refer the video to him. But what does that do? I don't know who the people are driving them. There's someone right there that can hold them accountable, and apparently they don't even know the law. They're just going to defend their other law enforcement officials. No, I don't believe it is in every state. In Washington State, in Washington State, it's RCW 46.08.65. It states that vehicles owned by the state of Washington have to be marked. It states how they have to be marked. It does make exceptions for law enforcement vehicles. However, the only law enforcement vehicles that don't have to have any markings are specific undercover. You know, for example, in Liberty Lake, which is where we've done an audit, you know what, maybe I'll go there right now and take a look at their unmarked vehicles. I guarantee you their unmarked vehicles in Liberty Lake, which understands the intent of the law, because I've seen them, they have stickers on the back where they're supposed to that identifies what department and city it's from. The law is very specific on that. What's up in Wenatchee? Nice to have you. Yeah, I know they don't have rules. Well, we're going to start enforcing some rules around these here parts. Tired of all this chaos. Yeah, Department of Common Sense would be really good. Well, we have in Spokane County, we have a citizens review board because there's been a lot of very controversial police involved shootings here. I did a video on one not too long ago that happened very recently where Spokane County Sheriff's deputy and it's not a he was just a police, I guess, Spokane police guy. They went to serve a eviction notice, and while they were serving the eviction notice, they went in the guy's house, and apparently the guy had been known to have guns, so of course their training tells them that he's probably some crazy constitutionalist sticking up for his rights, an immediate threat. And when they went into his apartment, he had a blanket, and he reached for his blanket and they shot him 7 times. He lived, but they shot him. There we go, there's our boy. Yeah, see you later, buddy. So anyways, they shot him, and they said that they saw the butt of a rifle under his blanket. Well, they couldn't find one in the immediate investigation after the shooting, so later that night they got a warrant for his apartment, and lo and behold, they found a loaded rifle in his apartment. Didn't say where in his apartment, just they found a loaded rifle, and that's what made the headlines. So seems if he had the gun when they shot him, they would have found it right then, because it would have been under the blanket like they said. But it's not how our law enforcement works. Yeah, Marshall, that's right. Sorry, I haven't been reading all this. Wild animals. That's awesome, Brian. Where do you do your wild animals, man? Sometimes I'd rather do that than these. I don't want to call them caged animals. They put us in cages. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's what it was about, Patrick. Either planned or they just had to find one. But like I said, the headlines in the paper were that they found it. Ah, what's up in Bothell, huh, Brian? Right on. Yeah, we're hoping to make a trip out to Western Washington here pretty soon. Oh, they do treat us like zoo animals. So, all right, y'all. Well, I hope you enjoyed it. Tried to educate a few people. Didn't seem like any of those guys wanted to listen. Hopefully some of the subscribers got education on how unmarked vehicles work in Washington State. We're going to keep taking them to task. I got this video, so I'm going to send it to the PIO. See what's going on. It clearly had no markings on these vehicles, so we'll see. You're welcome, Cybertron. Thanks for checking in, everybody. News Now Northwest out.